the average male life expectancy in America is 73.5 years. Okay? We've got an 81-year-old president and an almost 78-year-old ex-president. All right?
All right.
They are the leading. Did you hype me?
I did. I gave you because
I don't like that.
Because I'm young and hip.
You're not young and hip, and it makes me nervous when you do that. Makes me uncomfortable.
All right. No more of the hype. I was trying to develop some street cred there, but Gaydos won't have it.
It's gone, man. It's gone. We're past that.
Late.
The leading candidates from both major parties are, they're old. So I had an honest question. I go, well, what happens if one of these two men drop out before the election? Yeah. And then I had another question. What if one passes away? Now, let me be real clear here. I don't want to see that happen. It would be horrendous for either man. I'm not rooting for any of that stuff, but I think it's something you have to at least take into consideration. They aren't getting any younger, and their mental capacity, both of them, not good. So I think some people would like to know the answer. What happens if one wants to drop out? And unfortunately, if one of them were to pass, what happens?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. So, and it's all based on stages. It's where we are in the process. That's what the answer is. So right now, we're pre-primary. Neither Trump nor Biden at this moment have sufficient
delegates?
Yeah, delegates to win. Now they're going to get them. They're both going to get them. But as of today, they don't have them. So if it happens today, or if it happens before they get enough delegates before the convention, the other candidates who had delegates will keep those delegates. Some of the states have rules that their delegates are not allowed to change over until after the first vote. So they'd have to go to the convention. They'd have to vote for the person who dropped out. And then after that, things could start to change, but nobody would win from those votes. So neither Trump nor Biden, if they dropped out or passed away, would win from that. And then the party would then create its own rules on the floor, but here's what we're going to do. And they would have some sort of at the convention, they would have an election. The delegates at the convention would vote and create the new nominee from the party. So it could be on the Republican side, for example, because let's say we have Nikki Haley. It could be Nikki Haley, but it really could be anybody.
Are you pulling a Trump with the Nikki thing?
I'm making stuff up now. It was Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi was there.
So if one of them were to pass away or something, so at the convention, the states.
Well, the delegates from each state would pass some new rules for what they're going to do, but that could happen. This could happen at this election.
So we wouldn't be involved in a revote, or it doesn't come to us.
No, it'd be too late. So it would all happen at the convention. Now, let's say we get to the convention and one of the candidates dies or withdraws at that point. Now they have it. Let's say Trump and Biden both have enough delegates. They have the votes lined up.
Okay.
And one of them says, "I'm not running anymore." The Republicans would probably have to pass a new rule designed to free up delegates, because in the Republican Party you can't just leave who they voted for, who the people in your state voted for.
You can't take the second person, who would be Nikki Haley?
Nope. According to some, again, each state is different, but in the Republican Party, more often than most, the Republican delegates have to vote for who they were assigned to, who the primary assigned them to. The Democrats have language in their bylaws already that say that the delegates should vote, quote, in all good conscience. So that means that they can vote for who they were assigned to, or they can potentially vote for somebody else. But at the end of the day, they would vote for someone else at the convention. And again, it would be a floor fight at the convention for the next person in line. And it could be anybody. It doesn't have to be somebody who already has some votes, but it could be. After the convention, but before Election Day, if one of them passes away or drops out, a replacement would be selected by the party leadership. Now, what does that mean? Well, the parties have rules on their books stating exactly how a vacancy would be filled. It would be the party's national committee made up of a few hundred state and local party leaders, and that's how they would decide who the new nominee was. That's after the convention. So if something were to happen then. Now, what if one of them gets elected? So now we have Election Day, but they're not sworn in yet on January 20th. Now we're in a bad place right now.
This would be if they were to pass away after winning the election.
Yeah, so they win the election in November.
Then there's that 2 month.
Yeah. So let's say it's December. Let's say it's Christmas Day, and Joe Biden decides, you know what, I'm going to hang out with the grandkids. I'm not going to do this anymore.
After winning,
I don't want to say he passes away, but let's say something happens. Now there's 538 electoral votes from all the 50 states plus the District of Columbia. We'd have to figure out what they're going to do there. It would be an absolute mess. The winner of the state's popular votes get all the electors. Some states they get 2 electors. It's a whole different thing at that point. But it's never happened, and we don't know exactly what would happen. There would be all sorts of legal challenges to who would be next. Obviously, some people would say the vice president would elevate and become the president, and you pick a new vice president. Other people might say no, there needs to be another vote. Other people would say the party leadership get to pick. It's a whole different thing. So, and that's before the Electoral College votes. After the Electoral College votes, but before Inauguration Day, if the president-elect dies before they take office, then the vice president shall become president. So at that point, they're almost considered the president, even though they're still the president-elect. They've been elected by the Electoral College, and the vice president would elevate automatically.
So I know it's a bit morbid, but a lot of people are asking the questions. What happens if a Trump or Biden were to drop out of the race? What happens if one of them were to pass? I think the one thing that I've learned, because Barry was on this trying to figure it out, the people don't have a say in any of it.
It doesn't come back to us for another vote. So
it does not.
So this is where becoming, if you're a leader in one of the parties, if you're an electoral college person, I mean, this is where this stuff starts to really become more important. And also, again, there's going to be court challenges to all this because most of these scenarios have never happened. So there's going to absolutely be court challenges, and it's going to be up to appeal courts and potentially the Supreme Court.
Thanks for watching Outspoken with Bruce and Gaydos. Tap to watch more from KTAR News and click the button in the middle to subscribe.